welcome back to the Filmaholic. This is On the Rocks, and we have this every Wednesday where we take a topic, it's an unfiltered episode, and we see where it goes. The topic this week is Marvel's Phase 4. So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the films and the shows that have been announced in Phase 4, and then we're going to talk about ones that may be in Phase 4, stuff we want to see in Phase 4, because we've got the title and some of the announcements, like directing-wise, but we don't know what's going to happen in these films. So let's just start at the beginning here and then work our way and see where it goes. Obviously, the first film in Phase 4 is Black Widow, which was supposed to have already been out and now it's pushed back. It's not coming out until November of this year. Do you have any thoughts on this one? Obviously, this movie is not – it's the first film in Phase 4, but it's not, at least as far as we know, there's nothing in this movie that takes place. It might be the after credit scene, but the full movie itself takes place in the past. It's still before Infinity War, but after Civil War. What do you think?
I wanted to see it, and now I just gotta wait months. So that kind of blows.
My prediction with this one is that they're setting Yelena up, Florence Pugh's character, as the next Black Widow, or at least Black Widow type character, even if she has a different name.
She'll be like a villain. And then she'll switch over, I think.
I think so, too. And here's my prediction, is that we know Secretary Ross is in it.
Yeah.
And I want to say that some of his scenes in the movie are I saw something where they're de-aging him or something. And I think eventually the movie's going to end. And this is my hope, too, because I hope that they're setting up towards Dark Avengers. That's what I'm hoping that they lead up to with this Phase 4. But I would like to see Ross going around in these different films like Nick Fury did in Phase 1 when he was recruiting the Avengers, and see Ross recruiting the Dark Avengers. Because that's what I would like to see, him recruiting her into this team, whether it's called Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts or whatever they end up calling it. Recruit her in it, and then in that film, have her switch over in that film. And then that way she switches over, doesn't stay a bad guy, and then becomes part of the Avengers in Phase 5, 6, whatever.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while, but she will switch over eventually. But I mean, yeah, the score was incredible.
Yeah.
In the trailer. Now, I think they changed the person doing the score, so no faith. But yeah, Scarlett Johansson, incredible.
One of my favorite actors.
I don't know. That's another thing I'm excited for, but I don't like stuff like this. I already know you're going to live. All the other characters are going to live. There's no stakes. You should have released this movie chronologically when it came out.
I think so too. I don't know why they didn't.
I think I don't know. That's the most annoying part. Is you could have made this movie during that time period, and you just didn't. Now you want to go back after we already know her character's dead. You lost me already. So.
Yeah, that and a couple of things. That and there's slight spoiler rumors out there, at least, that Tony is going to make a cameo in the film.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Early on, at the beginning of the film, pretty much, and he gives her a advantage of getting away, so that puts the movie in motion. I don't want that to be the last time I saw Tony. I mean, the last time I saw Tony was when he sacrificed himself, and now you're saying, oh, you get this other scene.
Both of them.
Black Widow. Yeah. And maybe the scene will end with something that foreshadows what we already know is going to happen. And so it hits hard when you see it, but I don't know. I just don't think I needed it.
No, I definitely don't need it.
And also, say Civil War actually takes place in 2016. I don't know with the timeline, but say it actually takes place in 2016. This movie, I guess, take place in 2016 as well.
Yeah.
Infinity War took place in 2018, and then we got 5 years later, 2023.
Yep.
Florence Pugh's character is much older now. By the time that we get another movie with Florence Pugh outside of this, her character is almost a decade older. Be like 8 years at least older, probably.
Yeah.
By the time we see her after Black Widow.
Because I think Civil War roughly takes place around 2016, I think.
They have continuity errors several times. I would say 2016 probably, if I looked at the timeline. I've tried to add it up before. I know Vision says something about Tony being Iron Man 8 years, which is a continuity error in there because that's basing off from Iron Man to Civil War, 2008 to 2016. But Iron Man wasn't actually based in 2008.
But yeah, I mean, you've got a solid 6-7 years.
Yep.
8 years, and you're not going to do anything about it. You're just going to keep her. Don't worry about it. You'll probably change her hair color. And Captain Marvel, we'll cut your hair. That's how we'll know what timeline you're in. That's what's going to happen. It'll be, she'll probably dye it red, which is going to be annoying to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't know. I don't know what this is the actual comic book character, so I don't know what she looks like in the comics.
Because I didn't like when you dyed Scarlett Johansson's hair for Infinity War.
Blonde?
Did not at all. Did not like it.
I didn't care.
I did not like it.
Well, she was on the run.
I don't care.
That to me that makes sense why she would dye that, so she's less identified.
Stop helping their case, dude. No, keep your hair red.
The next thing after that is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is the first show that we're getting on Disney Plus. You are probably looking forward to this more than I am because you're a big fan of Winter Soldier, and I think that's exactly what you're going to get in terms of the film, not just the character, which you're a big fan of the character too. But in terms of that show, I feel like that's the style. That's what you're going to get with this show is like that movie.
But I don't know. It's another thing. I already know kind of what's going to happen. So.
Because of leaked photos?
No, it was just from the photos, but it's like that gave a lot of it away.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is Sam's going to lose the shield because they're going to be like, oh, this is government property. You didn't sign the accords. They're going to give it to Wyatt Russell's character, and then he's going to turn, and then Sam will get the shield back. He'll earn it.
You think the U.S. agent is a good guy? You think he turns good?
I think he turns bad.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm thinking that he gets recruited by Ross, or he ends up being on Ross's team.
But that's what's going to happen, and Sam's going to end up getting the shield back. But he's going to lose it because that's going to be their excuse. Well, this is government property. You didn't sign the accords.
Maybe. That or they give him a completely different shield.
I don't think so.
It'll be interesting to see the landscape of the Avengers because this is actually the first thing we get that takes place after. Well, we got Spider-Man: Far From Home, but that was more isolated Spider-Man type versus. But this will probably be affecting more of the whole MCU. Will be the first thing in terms of the Soviet Accords, all of that, like what the Avengers is going to be moving forward.
Yeah,
which will be interesting. But was it Zemo comes back in this too? I'm curious on that. How that's going to play in. Do you think Steve is going to make a cameo in this?
I don't think so. He may come back later. I don't think he'll be in this though.
I don't think so either. But that's another thing that I think they need to answer at some point is where he's at.
He's retired.
No, but it doesn't make sense to me. Because, I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole, I guess. I don't know, because he went to that time period. He lived his life there. He didn't come back. He lived there instead with her, and then I'm assuming probably after she died. I mean, still probably would have died from the same thing. Then he decided to come back because he knew the right time and everything. So.
Just to give Sam the shield.
Yeah, but he can't go back after he's there, right? Or I guess he can. I don't know. So you think he left? Do you think he's not there anymore?
Well, he can't stay in that timeline because there's already Captain America there. So I don't know.
Well, he did because he got old there.
But I don't know how that works because there's already a Steve Rogers.
Frozen. They just leave him frozen.
Well, how did he get unfrozen?
What do you mean?
To go back to Peggy.
No, he went. The main timeline, Steve, went to that timeline. When he sees Peggy at the end of Endgame,
Yeah.
that is this Captain America. But in that reality, the Captain America would still be frozen because that was in like the 40s.
But then how is he frozen? And you just there's
What do you mean?
There's going to be two of somebody.
Yeah,
And that's even if you go back in time, there's still another you.
But that other him was frozen. It's still going to be frozen in ice.
And how do you explain that?
You just leave him frozen.
How do you explain it to Peggy?
I don't know, man. That's a lot of explaining to do.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, we thought you were dead. Oh, no, I survived the plane crash and got here.
I mean, I'm sure he told her the whole story. I don't feel like he left out all of that. I mean, it's a lot to take in for sure, especially in the 40s. But I mean, he also saw this dude with the red head, so I don't know what's going on with that. That was weird. He got that glowing cube.
Cue ball.
Yeah.
And it's like a superhero serum now. So
Yep.
there's that.
So
I guess.
I want to go to that world and see what the timeline and history was like with him not frozen and how that would have affected things. Because I feel like, I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. would be completely different. Bucky, they would have saved Bucky from all the stuff he had to do. Who knows? He might have told Howard about everything that Tony did, and then Howard may become Iron Man himself, which part of me, I feel like he might was not to say any of that. I don't know, but it's interesting. I definitely think he would have saved Bucky.
Yeah.
Which would have stopped a lot of stuff in history, according to their timeline.
Yeah, their timeline, not ours.
Yeah. So that is the second one. The next one is the Eternals. One of my most anticipated.
You get by.
Not really looking forward to that one too much. I mean, I'm going to watch it, but
Maybe yeah, dude. She's going to knock it out of the park directing it.
I'm sure. I am looking forward to a trailer to see what the tone of this film is and what to expect. Just nothing about it so far has been like, oh, I got to see this movie. I also thought originally it was supposed to be based 1,000 years in the past and like all this different stuff. Turns out that's not the case. Maybe parts of it is, but overall, this film is going to take place in modern day. I mean, we know that Camille's character is a Bollywood star.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why they didn't do anything during the Avengers films.
Don't worry about it.
Curious to know that and how this is going to play into the overall MCU moving forward.
Angelina Jolie, man.
And I wonder if Thanos will make a cameo in this movie too.
No, I don't think so.
Then after that, we got WandaVision, which I don't think I'm going to love this show. Because at least the way they're marketing it and talking about it being like a sitcom, and I don't really like those. And I feel like it's not going to be till the end of the show where you're like, oh, okay, all this makes sense now, and I like it. Because I think everything is going to start like a CD messing up by the end of the show, where it's like, oh, what's happening? Something's not right here.
Yeah.
And that's when I assume that we're going to branch off into her messing up the multiverse, which will lead into Doctor Strange.
Possible.
That's my prediction on that, but we'll see. I also wonder from the Eternals, going back to that real quick, will anybody join if they are setting up the Dark Avengers? If Ross is getting that team, is there anybody, maybe Dane Whitman? I don't know much about him. Do you think he could join?
I'm not that familiar with the characters, so I don't know.
And then we got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. After that, I don't know much about this at all, so I'm not going to say I'm that excited for it. Once again, it's like something I need to see a trailer for too. I will say that I am excited about the Mandarin though, that they're actually going back to that and having him be a real person.
This is probably my least favorite. Looking forward to, just because I don't know anything about the character, what it's going to tie in exactly.
Well, I mean, they've been setting this up from the very beginning. I mean, even from Iron Man, the 10 rings.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them. Hey, it's been in the back, they put out that short film too. The what?
Prequels. We're tying back in.
You think this is a prequel?
No, like Star Wars.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Back.
I was like, man, completely changes. No, I don't think it's. But yeah, there's that one. Also, we don't know the whole situation with Spider-Man, whether or not. Obviously, there's Spider-Man 3, which is coming out. Which my prediction right now for Spider-Man 3, which I'm not a big fan of the MCU Spider-Man in general. Like, Far From Home, I gave 4 out of 5. I really liked it. I didn't love it though. I did not like the ending. The fact that they painted him as the villain at the end, I did love that. But the fact that they revealed his identity to the world, hated it. That's one reason I haven't rewatched it yet, because I'm like, it's might bring it down a half star for me. Just that ending.
Hey, no.
I cannot stand that. And but I don't know. We'll see. I'm rewatching the MCU now, so when we get to that point, I'll see how I feel about it. But I think that Kraven's going to be the main villain. I hope that he is, at least, in the next movie. I want them to introduce Norman in the next movie.
It'll just be Scorpion. You're not getting it, dude.
That's my whole plan. I mean, I want them to introduce him in the next movie and then set him up for Dark Avengers to lead that. But as like the dark version of Tony in a way, I think that would be perfect. Yeah, I know Scorpion is supposed to come back. He tweeted something, so I guess you're getting Scorpion in the third one, because he did say that at the end of Homecoming that he was getting a team together. I don't think the next one's going to. I wonder if they're going to. It's very possible that Spider-Man 3 could be the Sinister Six. Scorpion's a part of it.
I hope not.
But I think that's a little too soon. I mean, because right now, like, I would wait until the fourth one. I would have Kraven, because he knows who he is and everything. Have him in the third one be hunting Peter. Have him as the lead villain. And then the fourth one, do the Sinister Six. And that way also, too, if you do tie Venom into the MCU officially, because there's rumors Peter is going to appear in the end of Venom 2, like dealing with this whole Carnage stuff. That way in the Venom 3, he'll be a part of the movie, and they'll both be fighting Carnage. Do that, and then also be vice versa, where Venom comes into Spider-Man 4 and helps him defeat the Sinister Six. That's what I would do. Maybe have Kraven be the main villain of 3, Scorpion's a secondary, something like that.
I'll watch it.
Because, I mean, by the time you get Sinister Six, if I had it my way and you get Goblin in there, then you also have Vulture, Scorpion, by that time Kraven, Shocker, and I guess Morbius could be your 6. We don't know what they're doing with Morbius, though. That was one, I don't know. If they're tying that in, if they're not tying it in. I've been trying to look every time I see the trailer, because they do have the murderer thing of Spider-Man painted on the wall when he walks past it, and obviously Vulture's in the trailer, so it's supposed to be in the MCU, but is it really going to be in the MCU? Are they really going to tie it in? I don't know. I've been trying, like that's what I was saying. Every time I watch a trailer, try to see if you can see the Avengers Tower in the.
Just keep watching the trailer.
Mind your own business.
God, dude. On repeat.
I just wake up in the morning and turn the Morbius trailer on. What can I find out today? Yeah. Then we got the Loki show, which I'm looking forward to.
It's one of the most anticipated.
Of everything, or the shows?
Every show.
Of the shows right now, I think that is my most anticipated. Um, although I hope I'm not let down in terms of it tying in, because I think this is going to tie in heavily with WandaVision and Doctor Strange. I hope. So I would like to see them announce that Loki's in the Multiverse of Madness as well. But I don't want Loki to interact with Thor anymore.
Yeah.
I think that would take away from his death in Infinity War.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it is interesting to see what he's going to do in that timeline and how he's going to mess things up.
Yeah.
I think I want to say some of the pictures there was like some kind of almost like a cop type group of Time or whatever is after him. Something like that. Pictures. I don't know, but I'm interested to see what they're gonna do. I wonder if Thanos. That's another thing. Is Thanos gonna pop up in there? Because I mean, he would be still alive, and Loki took the Tesseract. That would he be coming after Loki to get that?
He'd have to. Whoever's got it is. Because during that line, he's on the warpath, dude. He's not calm at all. Or I mean, it would be a different timeline. So I mean, he could be chill. Maybe in that timeline he doesn't care. Maybe he's already just chilling on a farm.
Well, no, because I mean, he would still be the one that set things up. He would be, even if you go back to the Avengers, Thanos is the one that really gave him the, what was it? Gave him the it wasn't the Tesseract, the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Because Thanos had it originally.
He'd just be chilling, dude.
He doesn't seem like a very chill dude.
Just because he's huge and purple.
Can't imagine just wanting to chill on the farm with him.
That's what he did at the end game. Picking his vegetables and fruits.
God.
Making a soup.
And then we have Hawkeye. We got the Hawkeye show too. Which I say that I don't care because I've never cared about the Hawkeye character. But they are bringing the character Kate Bishop into it. And Haley Steinfeld is supposed to play Kate Bishop. So that excites me. I like Haley Steinfeld.
I'll be excited for the future of her character, but not the show. Don't care.
What else we got here?
Because it depends on when that show takes place.
Well, that's the interesting question because somebody said we were going to see more of Ronan in it.
Well, that's the thing.
Was that his name? No. What was his name?
Yeah, that's the character's.
Okay.
Well, that's what he goes by. But it's like, if you're going to see more, Ronan, I don't know.
That kind of worries me. Does this take place in between Infinity War or like between that 5-year gap? Because that's less interest to me. I'd rather it take place after, but it could take place in between. I don't think so. Because he's pretty much set on that revenge path in between that 5 years. I don't think he'd be training anybody. I think this will be afterwards where he's still not going to be Hawkeye anymore. I feel like he is still Ronan because even though he's got his family back and he's happy with that, he still has everything that he did in his head.
When you were already training your daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to happen. She's not Hawkeye, dude. Kate Bishop.
Hawkeye. Which I didn't like that line in that movie anyway. What?
Then we got Thor, Love and Thunder. I'm looking forward to this one. There's some questions that I have. I don't really know much about the comics, and in terms of the storyline with Jane becoming Thor, I don't understand that. It's like I understand you getting the powers of Thor, getting the hammer, and becoming the God of Thunder, but how does she become Thor? Because that's his name.
Yeah. I don't know.
Title.
And well, I mean, it'll be interesting to watch the movie like for the script because Taika's writing this one and he didn't write Ragnarok, so
yeah.
I mean, it definitely has that same feel since he directed it, but the script is going to be.
He's co-writing it too with a lady who made 1917.
Yeah, that's how important that movie was. And that I don't know. That's not really a good judge for a script because there wasn't much going on.
Definitely, I like that movie more than you did, though. I give it 4 stars. You get 2.5.
It's just a boring hot pile of garbage that doesn't deserve to be a movie.
Man. Dang.
What a bore. Unrealistic stuff in that movie. That guy's death. You must have hit just a major artery. He just bleeds out that quick. He just got stabbed in the gut, dude. He's like, you're not going to make it. What?
You were a goner. Sorry.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I'm interested what they're going to do with this. They've revealed that the Guardians are in this movie at the beginning. Because Thor was with them, so they didn't come back. You got Valkyrie returning. Apparently she's going to have a love interest in this film. That's what kind of who I hope they set it up as. Obviously, Jane will get the powers of Thor. Like I said, I don't know much about that from the comics. I thought I read that she's sick in the comics and that every time she does something, she gets worse. So I don't know if they're planning on bringing her back just to kill her off, or if they're setting up her as a bigger character moving forward, or if they're going to rekindle the relationship between Thor and Jane, or what.
What did she?
You think she got snapped?
I don't know. I mean, I hope they actually tell, like, going forward, who did or didn't, and don't just ignore it.
Yeah, that would bother me too. I do hope because they didn't mention it. If she got snapped.
Well, I mean, that's just because Natalie Portman wasn't in the movie. But I mean, I hope you at least say, this or that, or
Well, it would affect their lives drastically if they got snapped, because it's them adjusting to the new world of being gone for 5 years. I mean, your apartment, your shit's just gone. I guess people got rid of it. I don't know what happened.
They took it. Well, I mean, that would be one way if you didn't want to bring it. I hadn't heard about Stellan Skarsgård if he's coming back as Eric, but I mean, if you didn't want to bring him back, that's how you could say is, neither one of you were snapped and he died. He ain't that old, but I mean, it would be believable. I guess he could have just died.
Yeah.
Darcy got snapped and not unsnapped. We just left her in the dust.
Well, Darcy she's coming back. She's in the WandaVision. They've already announced that.
We left her in the dust. Tony couldn't bring her back.
Well, she's in WandaVision, so we don't know if that's actually real. But
yeah, I don't think it's real.
She's going to be in it. And we know Christian Bale is playing the villain of the film, but we don't know who. Yeah. There's some speculation about him playing. What was the character? The creature-like character that he's supposed to be playing? Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I wish he was in the MCU more.
Yeah, I mean, you know who I wanted to play.
Doesn't matter what you want.
I want him to be Norman Osborn. I think. What's that?
As I said, it doesn't matter.
Because I think it would work bringing Norman in this film, because if you tie it in with a lot of stuff with him, Norman in the comics becoming Iron Patriot and the Dark Reign storyline and everything, they deal with Asgard and immigration and I think stuff like that. So it could tie heavily into what they've been doing with Asgard so far that we saw in Endgame. Do it, man. Bring it in. This is Norman's first film, and carry him through as the next big bad. Christian Bale. He's already played Batman. Now switch it up.
Man. You're not getting Norman Osborn, dude. Go ahead and give it up.
I will keep hoping. Which I don't even know. It might be Beta Ray Bill, but I know that's a lot of people's first thing they go to. But I think there's other possibilities too of who he could be playing. Galactus, or some people's Hercules, and
I don't think you'll start Galactus yet. I think that will be the big big bad going forward, but not yet.
Well, you mean that would be the next like Thanos level.
Yeah,
As far as, probably the next like 3 phases leading up to him.
Yeah.
It should be interesting if they end up casting for that too.
He's dead by then.
Then we got, like I said, Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. Curious with this one, like I said, you bring in WandaVision in as a big character they've announced, which I think that she may end up playing like the villain of sorts in the movie, which I like. And then I want to see Loki come in the movie as well. I think an indication about this movie that's something to look at is that this one was originally supposed to come out before Thor: Love and Thunder and Spider-Man 3. And now it's coming out after those. So they essentially don't tie in with this movie.
Yeah, no, doesn't matter. Skip it.
So.
No, you got your director doing it, so.
I am very excited, that Sam Raimi is directing the film. Yeah, it's a good casting decision. Or a good...
it's a good casting decision.
Good casting.
I hope it does lean more into the horror element.
Maybe.
Depending on your villain.
Well, we don't know who the villain of the movie is either. Yeah.
I think it's definitely
Nightmare, was that?
Yeah, and was it Mephisto? I hope they're both in it. That's my hope. But I don't always get what I want.
We'll see. I don't know. I also think it's weird that you set up Mordo becoming the villain of the next film at the end of Doctor Strange, and now like, what are we doing? Where did it?
He'll be in the third. I think it'll come back.
Okay. So you think they're going to take away, go back to this, and then in a third one, bring him back to wrap it up?
Yeah. Because you didn't just put him in there for no reason. He'll come back, whether it's in the second one, like maybe at the end or something. But I mean, he'll be back in the third one for sure.
Well, I can't remember. I'm trying to think of what project I looked at. I read something recently that was like a rumor. I think it was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, maybe, that they were thinking Mordo might show up.
I mean, that would be the one I could see him showing up in.
And he like shows up to like work with the Mandarin or something.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. Give him show him doing something until we get him in Doctor Strange 3.
Yeah. Growing powers.
And then we also have the Miss Marvel show, which has been announced. I don't know a whole lot about the character.
I don't know anything.
Don't have much to say on that, other than they did say that not only would she have this show, but she would be coming into the films as well, which is expected. Which I do wonder in terms of, like, for example, that one. But the Falcon and Winter Soldier, too, actually. Is there going to be a second season? Or you don't think so? There's no possible...
I don't...
How do you see their characters moving forward?
I don't know. But I don't know what their season 2 would be.
I don't know.
Especially since there's just so much going on.
I wonder, because I mean, with the movies, the characters usually get 3 films, except for Thor, who's now getting a 4th. So I wonder, like, with the shows for like Miss Marvel or whatever, how will their characters continue? Will they just be part of a group instead of getting another standalone thing?
I think Falcon and Winter Soldier's just one season. WandaVision, I think that's just one season.
Well, yeah, I definitely think that's one season.
And it depends on what Loki actually is.
But I mean, like, for Falcon and Winter Soldier, do you think it's a situation where they have the show and then you get like another, just say, Falcon movie or Captain America movie, but with him as the Shield or anything.
I don't know. I don't think he'll be Captain America yet.
Damn.
He'll have the shield, but I don't think he'll be Captain America. I mean,
I don't think he'll ever take over the title. I think his title's always going to be Falcon, but he's going to have the shield.
He'll take the title eventually.
I don't know, man. If you're gonna do it, man, do it by the end of the show. Do it at the end of the show.
I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, he might. I think he will take that title though.
And then we got Black Panther 2.
Yep.
We once again don't know much about this. There's been some speculation. I know that one of the main things I've read, there's been several villains that have been hinted at. Not hinted at, but people have talked about it. Like the most common one that I think people are talking about is Doctor Doom, which I hope isn't the case.
No, I don't want that at all.
Because I don't want, especially if you just bring him in and get rid of him, which I don't think you should do that with Doctor Doom anyways. I think you should keep him in the series. I think he should be like the Loki moving forward, essentially, of like villain that stays through things. Even if you don't build up to him as like a big bad, keep him in there. But he needs to be introduced around the same time Fantastic Four is, I would say. I don't want to see. I don't know. Maybe what I would say, even if you wanted to have Doom in Black Panther 2, I wouldn't have him be the main villain. I'd have him be in the movie as like show that he's in the MCU, but not have him be the main villain.
He wouldn't be Doctor Doom anyway. He would just be Victor.
Well, I mean that's based off. What are you basing that off of?
I mean, he wouldn't. I mean, I can see you introducing him as Victor now that you've opened up Wakanda to the world. Like he's into like science and stuff and technology.
Well, are you basing that off just watching the movies?
Yeah.
Because that's not where the comics are like. Because he's like a ruler of like his own, like not Wakanda, but his own like thing somewhere in Europe. That's what his character in the comics does.
Oh God.
And he doesn't even like I don't think he even gets his powers the same time that the Fantastic Four does. So I think it's gonna be very different.
I'm not that excited for that movie anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And I think Kraven the Hunter, which that's a Sony character, so that's why I don't think that's going to happen, and that's going to be more for Spider-Man. And I think right now that might work for Spider-Man 3, but I think Kraven could be an interesting villain in there coming after. But I think the most logical to me would be Namor, Submariner.
Oh, you already, yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but they hinted at it in Endgame.
Well, yeah, Okoye was talking about, or they were talking about the sharks under the ocean.
Yeah.
It's like, we handle it by not handling it.
So, I think that's the most logical thing to do for the second film.
Yeah.
Darker sort of version of Aquaman, and see how that works out. One, pretty much the king of two different kingdoms fighting off. And then you can actually bring Namor into the Dark Avengers as well if you wanted to do that.
I just don't care about that movie.
And then we have the Captain Marvel sequel as well, coming out the same year, 2022, which I think will end up being called Captain Marvel Secret Invasion, taking that comic title like they did Captain America Civil War, and just put Secret Invasion on this one and like loosely take things from that comic book storyline and bring it to the big screen. With the Skrulls, obviously in the comics, the Skrulls are bad, and they're not bad here. So we don't think so. What's that?
I want it set in the past. So.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Because you set that up, so.
You did. Sort of. I don't know. I'm not too upset about it as much as I was originally, based off my memory. But when I rewatched Captain Marvel, because first of all, when you're saying it set it up, is that you're setting it up with Ronan.
Yeah.
I don't care too much about seeing her fight Ronan because, like you said, with the whole
how you set it up.
Black Widow thing, we know he dies.
Yeah, and
so he's not going to die in this movie. So he's either, if he is defeated, he's not killed.
Yeah,
and he gets away. So, and when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, it shows that he takes an interest in her, and that.
Well, he said he was coming back for her.
Yeah. Maybe that was his plan, but now he's dead, so he didn't get to do that. So, I don't know. I think you should tie bits and pieces up into that because Yon-Rogg doesn't die, basically. I don't think, right?
Yeah, he gets sent back.
So, you're probably going to tie that in and bring him in somehow too in the sequel. But I don't think it's in the past anymore because that's originally what I was thinking that I was hoping it would be in the past and bring Ronan in and tie more stuff in. But I think with the way Far From Home ended, that set up that Captain Marvel is in the sequel's going to be in present day because one, the Skrulls are in that one, so that's another thing. It's like they don't die in the sequel because they're in Far From Home. So I think they're going to be in the sequel, and then also I think Nick Fury is going to be in the sequel, but modern age, because you saw him in space at the end of the second one, or end of Far From Home, and I think that's going to tie into the second film as well. Him with her in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got here? Moon Knight. I don't know much about that character at all, but I did. And this is gonna be another series. I did read that they're looking at bringing Punisher into the series. John Bernthal back as Punisher in this series.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm looking forward to this one. We've talked about this kind of. We definitely have different opinions on. James Gunn said that for one thing, a character is going to die in the film.
Yeah.
I have two predictions, and the one that I believe it is I think it's going to be Nebula. But my hope is that it's Star-Lord, and I know he's Chris Pratt. He's the biggest actor in the film, but they did it with Tony too. This is the end of the Guardians trilogy. His girlfriend has already died. I don't want them to rekindle. It's not even rekindle because it's a different person. I don't want to see him and Gamora have a relationship in this movie. Not anything real, anyways. Like have them have scenes together where he's hurt over the real Gamora being killed, but then have him go out and sacrifice at the end. That's what I hope it happens. But I think it'll probably be Nebula.
Facts, dude.
I just don't think anybody cares.
Okay.
We know what's the character's name that was introduced? Adam Warlock at the end of Guardians 2 that they're setting up, which I don't know. James Gunn. God, I'm getting tired. James Gunn said it was like he's playing coy about well, I didn't say he's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan didn't say the Joker was going to be in the Dark Knight either. He just said there was a card at the end of Batman. This is his calling card, just the Joker. Adam.
So should be setting that up. See how that plays out in the third film. Is there anything else about this that I'm missing that they've announced?
Not yet. He's not. Okay. He's focused on Suicide Squad more than release anything else.
We've got She-Hulk.
I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to it. Bring Mark Ruffalo's coming back as Banner, Professor Hulk, whatever. That's going to be interesting. See who they cast in the role. I hope they bring Betty Ross back too.
Yeah. It'd be nice.
Even if it's just one episode, yeah. Tie it in. We have Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 or Ant-Man 3, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure it'll be called Ant-Man and the Wasp subtitle or something, but
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Michael Douglas is a goner.
It'll be curious. Obviously they're going to have Ant-Man, they're going to have Wasp. I think his daughter is going to suit up in this one.
Yeah.
I can't remember right now. Stature, I think that's her name in the comics.
Yeah.
I think she'll be a part of it.
Stupid name.
They'll probably bring Ghost back, I'd imagine.
I hope.
I would really love them to bring Justin Hammer into this movie as a villain.
Not happening. Get over it.
Bring him back.
I wish, but it's just I'm not even getting my hopes up, dude.
Bring him back, and this is a good one to bring him back.
I wish he would work with Ross. Put them together.
Yeah. Hopes are way too high there.
Yeah, well, if I'm gonna dream, I'm dream big, dude. Have them work together. Build the dream team.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I also think it would be cool. Well, we don't know. For one thing, from Ant-Man and the Wasp, we don't know who Walton Goggins, who he was buying that stuff for. Who was he working for?
Norman Osborn.
Well, that was who I was hoping during the movie. That was my hope. It still is. But if it's not Norman, it could be Hammer. Yeah. Because he has
hoping big. Either way.
He has a daughter too who takes over in the comics and stuff, Justin. So you could bring her in, make a new storyline with that, him and his daughter.
Just give me Sam Rockwell, dude.
Eventually there's a Spider-Man 4. And they've already announced that too. About Ant-Man 3 too. I'd like to see them do use the Pym particles, do all that, travel through time and stuff. I want to see them go into the past and see Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer in action when they were young.
Yeah.
We just saw that a little bit when she disappears. Is it the first film, I think?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind seeing another mission with them.
I don't really care.
But probably won't happen. What else? And then obviously to the next Avengers film, whenever that happens. Like I said, I hope the next Avengers is called the Dark Avengers, or even if it's not called the Dark Avengers, have that be what the next Avengers is about, is them fighting the Dark Avengers.
What about Blade?
Do you think that's not in Phase 4 though? I'll talk about it. But
I thought they said it was going to be in Phase 4.
I thought they said Phase 5 Blade was in Phase 5.
I don't know, maybe. I thought he said Phase 4.
Well, see, they've been very iffy on what actually is considered Phase 4. Because originally...
If this is going to tie into Morbius now.
That would be cool.
Because obviously that's the only vampire I know of in the MCU currently. And he kills vampires.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. Like I said, you got the Avengers... and then you have Blade as well that has been announced, but nothing other than Mahershala Ali is playing Blade.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I think that'll be in Phase 5, though. I just think it's something they were like, yeah, we want to make it happen. He wants to make it. We'll announce it. But I feel like Phase 4 is something they've had planned for so long that you're not going to get much different added in that wasn't planned for a while. The only thing where I'm I'm not sure about is the whole Spider-Man situation. But I feel like that's the situation where it's whatever they have worked out is they could give or take with Spider-Man. But I think the beginning of Phase 5 is when you're going to get Blade, and I think you're also going to get Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And X-Men in Phase 5.
I'm more excited for Fantastic Four, honestly, to see that be done right. Because I've seen good Blade movies, I've seen good X-Men movies, so.
You're going off the idea too. I think too that if you get John Krasinski in there.
It's going to be John Krasinski and Emily Blunt.
That's what I want, and that excites me. But outside of that, I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan. Like I'm looking forward to them doing it right and putting an MCU.
Either.
Well, I mean, I've started watching all the shows too, and I mean that's not the only indication. There's all these comics and stuff that I could look at, but I've started watching the shows on Disney Plus, the animated shows, and that's my least favorite right now. The Fantastic Four. It's all right. It's just not clicking with me as much. X-Men, which I'm trying to watch them in its order that I found. So really right now, the only three that I'm watching is Fantastic Four, Iron Man, and X-Men, because I haven't got to Spider-Man and Hulk yet in that order. But X-Men's definitely my favorite of those shows so far. But
Magneto, dude. It's my favorite X-Men.
Yeah, well, I hope you're ready for them to change that up too, which we'll talk about. And separate on the rocks, just talking about what we think they should do with the X-Men. But
there's no way he's alive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Either with, and like I said, we'll do another on the rocks and we'll talk about it. But either they're going to have to bring them in from a different. If they're going to stick with him being in World War II, they're going to have to bring them in from a different dimension, or say that their powers in this world, in terms of the MCU,
you get to live forever.
Their mutants slow down everyone's like Wolverine in terms of it slows down their aging process.
Like that. That's stupid.
That's the only way that you can explain it.
I just wouldn't have them. I mean, it just sucks, but I mean, I just wouldn't have Magneto.
No, dude.
I'm
completely against that.
I don't like it, but any I don't know. Either way, from another time.
I would be completely against not having a Magneto in your X-Men at all. But even if you did that, you can't make the X-Men without Professor X.
He's dead.
There's no way. You just can't do it.
He's dead, dude. He's a goner.
No, I mean, I hope they bring them. I would like to see them bring them from a different reality altogether. Which I'll talk about in a separate time. But honestly, what I think they're going to do, and what I think is the most likely, is they're going to have them from different origins. I don't think he's going to be a Holocaust survivor, World War II Holocaust survivor in this version. Which I had a very big issue with that when me and Bell were talking about it, and he was pitching that idea and everything. Until I watched the animated show recently, I started watching it, and then realized that they've done that in the past, where they've kind of altered their stuff for whatever reason. Because in the animated show, and this is how I think they'll do it in the movie, probably going a little bit more deeper into it. They just say that he was part of it. There was a war, and obviously they're hinting at World War II, but they don't say that. There was a war. People took over his country, killed a lot of his people, what have you. And that's still happening all over the world. So I think that's how they're going to do Magneto this time around.
Bogus.
Which means, what will Magneto look like? What nationality will he be? It'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah, because it won't be Eric Lyncher.
No.
I mean, it could be, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's not his name in the show either.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I haven't looked at the comics. I need to look that up too. Before we do that video of like what his name in the comics, if he does have an official name. But they call it they call him something else completely different in the show, because I was like, who? It's not Eric.
Who is this?
But I think that's how they're going to handle it moving forward, and it makes sense. I mean, because you can't. If he was in World War II, it's not, unless you have to either do the alternate dimensions, the timelines, or de-aging, or not de-aging, but slowly aging, or just change it completely. And they've already shown with Spider-Man, they're not afraid to like change things up, which I have a problem with that. But in terms of Spider-Man, but X-Men, I think it'll probably work for the best. You're just gonna get up and walk out of the theater.
I'm done.
Which I also hope, too, with X-Men, don't introduce everything all at once. Slow us down. Introduce some of these core characters that we already know, and like I said, we'll talk about it, but save Magneto for a sequel. Tease him in this one, talk about him, don't show him. Save me the sequel. I would do the same thing with Wolverine, too. Well, we'll talk about that. But yeah, that's the last one that I have. And then, like I said, I hope Phase 4 ends with the Dark Avengers. I would say if I was doing it, I would have Phase 5 end with Secret Wars. Do that at the end of Phase 5, and then obviously at the end of Phase 6, you have the whole Galactus thing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be your next big bad is Galactus.
Yeah. Any idea who you'd want to play Galactus?
I don't know. That's too far away. I mean, you could, like I say, there's so many, new actors that could come around. So, don't know.
Gonna have somebody with the gravitas as Josh Brolin.
Yeah. Don't know, dude.
I think it was Kelsey Grammer that I've heard.
I would shoot myself.
I've heard that rumor is that they're wanting him to play Galactus.
I'd shoot myself before I go see that movie.
God.
That's how you lose me. I hate his voice. You never watched Frasier?
I did, yeah.
And that guy was supposed to be a radio jockey. Like, man, who was listening to you?
The whole universe when he becomes Galactus.
You lost me, dude, in the MCU. If that's Kelsey Grammer, nope. I'll go ahead. You can have all my steelbooks. I'm not watching them again. You lost me.
What about Arnold?
Brad Pitt, dude.
As Galactus?
Yeah, dude.
He's my favorite actor, so I'm like, if he is, I'm not gonna be like, God damn it.
Watching,
but I don't know so much about Galactus. He's really big, right? Like, huge.
That's gonna be, yeah. See, no one's that big.
You think they're gonna shrink him in terms of the MCU?
I think it'll be like computer, somewhat. I mean, he's
well, obviously that, yeah. I mean, Thanos is. Oh man, get the practical. No, I mean Thanos is computer generated or CGI motion capture, but I just don't know. Like, if you're saying he's gonna be like Thanos, like he's gonna talk like Thanos or be like
no, I don't.
Stuff like that, then I could see like Brad Pitt or somebody doing it. But like, I don't know how he is going to be, so it is hard to cast him on terms of that. I'm just thinking of somebody with the voice who I want. I don't know.
I don't know. I would want to see, because Galactus was in Fantastic Four 2.
Yeah.
I
think it was just a face.
Yeah, but I mean, I would like to hear. Not that that's good, but like I would at least like to hear like that voice and like other voices first to get like an idea. Because I didn't know this. Apparently, Galactus was a mortal man to begin with. Did not know that. According to Wikipedia, he was a mortal man. Who originally consumed planets to sustain his life force. So interesting. Did not know that.
Well, I think they'll bring in Silver Surfer before that happens too. Because he works, he'll be working for Galactus, picking out planets and stuff for him to consume.
He will be, but then he'll turn too. So
yeah, hopefully they don't. It's not a Vision situation. I can see them doing that though.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, that'll be your next big bad.
When do you think we'll see him for the first time?
2035, dude.
Well, I mean, they introduced Thanos at the end of Avengers, the first film, and the end of Phase 1.
Oh,
laid
you
the groundwork.
don't mean like the main character in the movie?
No, just like reference him, show him, even if whatever.
I still say 4 or 5
You don't
years.
think it'll be in Phase 4?
4 or 5 years away.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, I don't think the end of Phase 4, the next event. I say the earliest that you get a Galactus thing will be.
Whoever the big bad, I think that's going to be it. But if it's not, it's still going to be 4 or 5 years. I think that's who it's going to be, though.
Yeah, hope Norman's in there though first.
He is not going to be in the MCU.
This video is over.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's our On the Rocks this week. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday.